All right, so I've got this graph from 2020, and this shows how many steps on average I was taking each month. And you can see over here in August 2020, there is a significant dip. And this was when I first took a break from my full-time job of being a doctor and ended up sitting on this desk all day making YouTube videos. Now, this is a graph of my body weight, and you can see that there is a fantastic correlation between when I stopped taking all these steps and suddenly my weight absolutely ballooned and I became really fat. So if you're watching this video, you probably have a job where you sit down all day. And you've heard this before, sitting is the new smoking, and they've done so many studies about this, where basically they show that physical inactivity is this golden bullet that just increases your risk of dying from all sorts of bad things. And as you might have heard, taking 10,000 plus steps a day is generally a very good thing. This meta-analysis of 15 studies, for example, showed that taking more steps per day was associated with a progressively lower risk of all-cause mortality. This study showed that in sedentary, overweight individuals, 10,000 steps a day significantly lowered anxiety, depression, anger, fatigue, confusion, and total mood distress. And this study, for example, showed that for every 500 steps you increase per day, the risk of cardiovascular disease decreases by about 6%. And so what I've tried to do is add as many simple hacks to my life to get to my 10,000 steps a day goal. So firstly, the single best thing that I found for this is actually to get a treadmill underneath my standing desk. It was about $300, but it was totally worth it. It's the Walking Pad C2. I have no relationship with them at all, but would recommend you can check it out. And I've had this treadmill under my desk for a few months, and I've used it 148 times and walked 255 kilometers in that time. In fact, today, according to my Apple Watch, I have racked up about 5,000 steps already and I haven't really left the house. So the treadmill has been a surprisingly simple hack that's actually let me get in more steps in each day. Secondly, wherever possible, I like to take Zoom calls while I'm walking. Thirdly, if I have to go somewhere for dinner or something and it's within about 40 minutes of where I live, I'll often choose to walk rather than drive or take the train. And usually while I'm walking, I'll listen to a podcast or something, but again, it just gets the steps in because 40 minutes there and back basically gets me to about 10,000 steps. And it's just been helpful to monitor it with my Apple Watch. You can do this with like basically any phone. You don't need a smartwatch, but every phone has a step counter in it as well. So if you have your phone in your pocket, you can see how many steps you've done. And since becoming conscious of the fact that I'm trying to get 10,000 steps a day, I have increased my step count each day.